Good morning and welcome to ASL's HR in 10.
At 10.
I'm Jason Perry,
And I'm Kimberly Bradshaw.
and especially for our last pre-Christmas HR in 10, we thought we'd liven it up a bit with, Kimberly said Christmas jumpers, but I like to do things properly.
Yes,
So,
I think I need to just model the rest of mine so people know that it is festive.
absolutely, there's a definite snowman theme going on
Yeah.
there. But Kimberly, seriously, as we get to the end of the year, I kind of think it's almost worth looking forward and thinking what the next year has in for us, because we hoped at the beginning of this year that it might be dull, if that's not
Mhm.
yeah. We'd had our excitement in 2020 and 2021, really, hadn't we?
Yeah, we'd had a lot of excitement there.
So
But no, nothing changed.
no, it hasn't been dull. It's just been a new crisis to have. So, what do you see happening in 2022? What do you think the big issues for HR folk are going to be?
Well, resilience is certainly going to be one of them. Things are tough. Okay, it's not COVID, but it's other things now. Um, you know, Cost of living
Mm,
and all those kinds of things. And I think we're going to have to be more resilient as each year goes by if this is the current trend.
yes, I think for me the big thing is HR's significance at a strategic level. And I mean, we talked about a couple of months. There was and I can't remember who did the research, but the report that HR was seen by senior management as largely administrative. Um, and I have to say, I don't recognise that. You wouldn't be surprised by that. Those people that work with us know that we wouldn't recognise that because the last thing we do is administrative. It's employee engagement is what's right up there. If you get the culture right, everything else kind of flows and it works.
Mm.
Um, but I kind of think as we go into 2023, this is more important than ever. We've had a couple of years of this, and actually, we have so much work to do again to look after our people and getting that, shall we say, strategic input at board level is actually what's really key for HR in the next year, I think.
Yes, it's disappointing when you think that FTSE 100 PLC HR director, group HR director, said you better not call us pink and fluffy after this in the first
Yes,
year of COVID.
yes,
Um, I don't. It does surprise me that so many business leaders think it is administrative
yes,
when actually it is so strategic and can
yes.
make such a huge difference to an organization.
When people allow it to, of course, and there are many organisations that have effectively um, pushed the function as they see it to the line, which may be why we see a larger number of tribunals from some of those big organisations you'd hope would know better.
Yes, I'd also be interested on the size of company that was, that responded to that bit of
Mm,
research. Because, I mean, certainly we know there are local companies that are small businesses, and there's a large percentage of them that don't even know that they need HR, much
mm.
less how strategic it can be. So, if they've been in touch with them, then they'll understand. They'll think it's administrative.
Yeah, I think equally there's probably a mid-size organisations, which is a lot of the ones we work with, that are getting it right. And I mean, the larger organisations where we're seeing the HR function, the strategic level is trying or has tried to reduce its cost, I think is probably the way of putting it. Um, and we're seeing the function, the quality of the function fall in that case. And this is why I say resilience, and you said resilience. I think it's about fighting our corner this year and showing the difference we can make. There has to be a lot of change in the culture to help people survive what we've got in the way of the cost of living. But also, we've got huge recruitment challenges to get through, haven't we?
Oh, heavens. Yes, it's been such a nightmare. Anybody recruiting is struggling. It doesn't
Mm.
matter what level of qualification or no qualifications you need. It's been an absolute nightmare. And I think that finding the right people and keeping them
Yeah.
engaged is one of the key things we're going to have to help with
Yeah,
the
but it's
coming.
those organisations like, and I remember when we first talked about it, Atom Bank in the northeast, who really have been very forward thinking and found a way of implementing a 4-day week. And what was it, 500% increase on their recruitment attraction rates
Yeah.
by getting the culture right. And
Mm.
those are the things that, again, I think employers are going to need to do to stand out and make a difference as we go into next year.
Exactly, flexible working and different employment
Yeah.
patterns. So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot going on there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, while we're talking about that, shall we talk about the Lord's report? That was fascinating.
Wasn't it just? Didn't was the? I think it was done by the ONS, wasn't it? The date, the research, but apparently, the Lords think that the biggest driver of rising economic inactivity is early retirement.
Indeed. Yeah, there's some ONS data which says I think the labour pool has reduced by 565,000 people through early retirement. And this is quite a fascinating one because we're talking now, and we'll come on to in a minute, no doubt, about people not retiring and delaying their retirement. But during those couple of years of COVID, a lot of people made new lifestyle choices and
Mm.
said, do you know what, we're going to leave early. And the House of Lords wanted to look at what the key factors were. And the biggest one, as you say, was early retirement. And apparently, a large part, it's down to greater flexibility in our pension funds than, let's say, our European friends have. So
Mm.
people here can choose to retire if they have the financial means to do so from anywhere about 50 onwards with the flexibility to make use of their pension.
Yes, exactly. I think another driver was increasing sickness, wasn't it? And
Yes.
I'm seeing a lot of post-COVID mental health,
Mm.
COVID-related mental health issues where everyone's kind of kept fighting, kept going, and now they're just like, okay, that's over. And
Emotionally exhausted, I think is the phrase.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, totally. But it's an interesting one because on the one hand, we've got the House of Lords looking at what is the problem and concluding too many people retired early and we've taken 500,000 people out of the labour pool, as it were. Yet, the flip side is we have research going on right now that is suggesting, this is Legal in General, if I recall correctly, who are finding that 1.7 million people are saying they're going to delay their retirement indefinitely, keeping
Mhm.
some degree of part-time or full-time work as a way of continuing to fund their lifestyle as they can't afford to retire.
Yes, I mean, what they're saying apparently is that they need to push it back because of the cost of living crisis.
Indeed.
That makes me wonder if those that did retire early are now going to be coming back into the workforce, given everything that's going on there. But
And there's a great opportunity for employers, seriously, of actually make sure your recruitment policies, your strategy to bring people on board is friendly towards that age group and is focused on being open towards that age group. Because there is a lot of talent out there, and perhaps by thinking about the flexible working approach, the hours, you can find a way of enticing some of that talent back into the workforce.
and that would certainly be a solution to many of the recruitment problems.
Yeah.
And another way in which HR is going to be not pink and fluffy, but very strategic.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, it's looking at these problems. But what's really interesting about this, I think, is the idea that we have two conflicting pieces of research at the same time saying too many people are retiring, too many people are delaying their retirement. It kind of looks like there's this huge imbalance, but I think it's largely because I was about to say because the House of Lords are slow. That was going to come across all. What they're doing is they're working on historic data. I think they're looking at what's happened during COVID when large numbers of people made lifestyle choices, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
But as you say, attracting and retaining these older people could give you some significant improvement in business performance.
Indeed, indeed. And it's about the policies to enable them to fit into your workplace. And that's the thing, I think, if you get right as we move into the new year, you may minimise some of those recruitment problems. Kimberly, as ever, we try and squeeze so much in a 10-minute window, and guess what?
We're out of time.
We are indeed. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will be back in the new year. So for now, a very happy Christmas.
Happy festive season from me too. And sorry, I think there was a slight delay then. Yes, see you in 2023.
Bye bye for now.
Bye bye.